Back when I was younger, King's X was one of my favorite bands. I remember I had the first 4 or 5 albums in various formats. I used to listen to them all the time. Over the years, my King's X CDs, vinyls, and cassettes either got lost or destroyed, or in other words, I don't have the albums I bought when I was younger. Then one day, I saw they had a box set available that had the first 5 albums, so I picked it up. Now, I don't know if anyone has done this, but I don't know if you've ever bought some albums and then you stick it on your shelf and then you forget to listen to them. That was what happened to me with this box set. But one day I eventually decided to listen to them in chronological order, and I was surprised how good they were. I had completely forgotten about the band. I remember back in the day they were lumped in with the glam metal bands, but they were their own genre. I guess we can call them a funky, alternative, hard rock band. But anyway, let's take a look at the box set. This box set includes the first 5 albums, which are Out of the Silent Planet, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, Faith, Hope, Love, King's X, and Dogman. It was manufactured by Warner Brothers UK and originally released in 2013. These are just the original albums, not remasters, not re-releases. There's no booklets or inserts, there's no bonus tracks or rarities. Just the original albums. They sound as they were intended to sound when they were first released from the late 80s to the mid 90s. Every CD has a simple cardboard sleeve and designed to look like the vinyl records. So in other words, they're for the casual collector, not for audiophiles. They're perfect for those if you've never heard of the band or you want to discover what the band sounds like, or if you're someone like me who didn't take care of his collection over the years. In addition, most fans consider these albums to be their best. So it's an essential album pack. What's also good is that this band has a sound that can appeal to heavy metal fans as well as classic rock fans. So not a lot of bands can do that. So for that reason, I recommend this set. Now that I got that out of the way, I'm going to review all these albums one by one, then I will rank them from worst to best. So let me get started. First album I want to talk about is Out of the Silent Planet. This is technically their second album, but they released one in 1983 under a different name called Sneak Preview. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to call it their first album or the first King's X album under that name. It was released on March 28, 1988, named after a book by C.S. Lewis of the same name. The album cover shows the Houston skyline, and it has the southern outline of the state of Texas. Many critics noted the band's ability to blend diverse influences like heavy metal, progressive rock, pop, soul, funk, and they were compared to artists like Jimi Hendrix, Rush, Beatles, but they didn't sound exactly like them. They had their own sound. They were very influential on bands that would come after them. Some even said that they helped influence grunge because guitarist Ty Tabor used a drop D tuning and he would play these heavy guitar riffs, something that bands like Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots would be doing later on. Then you also had Doug Pinnick's powerful and soulful vocals and his bass playing as well. You have Ty Tabor's melodic guitar playing and Jerry Gaskell's drumming, so they were a 3-piece. Not only that, the songs had strong melodies, catchy hooks. Some of the standout tracks are Goldilocks, King, Shot of Love, and they were really great. They have lots of 3-part vocal harmonies that were reminiscent of the Beatles. Despite this, they received a little bit of criticism. Some people said the production was very polished and had a very 80s sound. On the other hand, some people felt the production made the songs easier to listen to. Not only that, the album had a few weaker tracks like Far, Far Away, but they're just minor nitpicks because this has lots of great songs. For example, the album starts with In the New Age with this atmospheric intro where it goes into heavy riffs that are paired with the band's signature vocal harmonies, followed by Goldilocks, which features more vocal harmonies and more of a relaxed feel. And many can consider Goldilocks to be their best song on this album. There's King, a straightforward rocker with catchy melodies and gospel influences. There's Shot of Love, which is known for this distinctive sitar-like guitar sound and a catchy chorus. There's What's This, a heavier track with a memorable bass line by Doug Pinnick with some eerie guitar effects. And the track Sometimes, which has this moody atmosphere and a prominent bass line that includes some heavier guitar work. Overall, it's a solid debut album. And the next one might be a little better, and the next one has some more recognizable songs. Next, I want to talk about Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. This is their second studio album, released on June 27, 1989. This is considered to be one of their best albums, also considered by some to be a progressive metal album. The album was praised upon its release, continues to be highly regarded. The album features the band's unique blend of hard rock, progressive metal, and gospel influences, as well as a little bit of psychedelic rock. Despite this, it received some criticism, only by the fans who didn't like the concept. The album is based on a short story written by the band's drummer, Jerry Gaskill. The lyrics are based on themes of spirituality and questioning religious institutions, which were inspired by said story. In other words, some people didn't like the fact that it was considered to be a Christian rock album, but then again, these are just minor criticisms, as it is a solid album. Some of the standout tracks on this album are Out of Sight and Planet, and yeah, it's one of those situations where they have the title track on a different album, like the Doors used to do, but it's an awesome opening track. It has a dark atmospheric sound with sitar playing and vocal harmonies. But probably the most recognizable track is Over My Head, which is a rocker with these gospel-influenced vocals and a hard-driving rhythm. There were some ballads like Summerland, which was very melodic. It shows their softer side. Mission was a heavier track with thought-provoking lyrics that critiqued televangelism, something that was popular back in the 80s. There was Pleiades, a song that starts slow but builds up to this powerful riff-heavy conclusion. The lyrics reference the burning of Giordano Bruno for his scientific views. There's Fall on Me, which has some chunky guitar riffs and strong vocal harmonies. Don't Believe It, It's Easier Said Than Done, has excellent vocal harmonies and a catchy sing-along quality. Overall, it might be their best album, but the next one is pretty good, and another one I used to listen to very often. Next album is Faith, Hope, Love. It's their third studio album, released on October 23rd, 1990. Also their most commercially successful album, reaching 85 on the Billboard 200 chart. It had one single called It's Love. It reached number 6 on the U.S. mainstream rock chart. It also has Six Broken Soldiers, which is a notable song because it has their drummer, Jerry Gaskill, on lead vocals. This album has a few guests, like the band the Galactic Cowboys, who provide backing vocals on the tracks Mr. Wilson and the title track. It's also considered to be a Christian rock album. Critics were mostly positive when the album was released. Many acknowledged it as their most successful album, mostly for the single It's Love, with a catchy Beatles-esque qualities. Some critics also appreciated the band's ability to weave in their Christian faith without being overly preachy or alienating the broader audience. But despite this, there was some criticism. Many people criticized the album production, which sounded very overproduced. The album also had a longer runtime, which means there were some weaker tracks or moments that could have been trimmed. Not only that, some critics felt it wasn't as groundbreaking or adventurous as the previous album, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. In other words, they played it kind of safe. The album has lots of good songs. You get the lead single, It's Love, which I spoke about already. We Are Finding Who We Are was the opening track with powerful riffs. The Fine Art of Friendship was a song about connection and friendship, and more melodic and introspective, but still maintained that rock edge. Mr. Wilson has a funky groove, features the aforementioned Galactic Cowboys. Moan Jam was a heavier, more of a free-form jam session. Six Broken Soldiers was the one with the drummer on vocals, and the title track, very anthemic and uplifting with strong vocal harmonies and powerful message. Overall, solid album and one of their best. Next is the self-titled, released on March 10th, 1992, their fourth album. Also the last album produced by Sam Taylor and marked the end of their collaboration with him. I remember buying this album back in the day. I thought it was good, but maybe not as good as the previous two albums. The album has a hard rock and progressive metal sound. It didn't perform as well as some of the others. It only peaked number 138 on the Billboard 200. Despite this, the album received critical acclaim. Even Guitar World ranked it at number 15 as the top 30 greatest guitar albums of 1992. The album has a few standout tracks, such as the track The World Around Me, which kicks off the album with a heavy sound. Then there was Lost in Germany with vocals by both Doug Pinnick and Ty Tabor. There's the lead single Black Flag, which has those classic harmonies that they did pretty well. It reached 17 on the U.S. mainstream rock charts. If you remember, I said this album has a progressive rock sound that could be heard on the Chariot song and has elements of psychedelic rock. Some of the songs go in a darker and heavier direction, like the Ooh song, and they have these big arena rock anthems like Not Just for the Dead, which also have piano and sitar playing. Overall, it might be one of those albums that gets overlooked, but still a good album, good to listen to, start to finish. I have one more album, that's Dogman. It's their fifth studio album, released in 1994. Sounds a little different than the other ones than the mid-90s. It was the end of the grunge year, so they got a little heavier, but not much of a difference in sound. It was produced by Brendan O'Brien. He worked with a lot of other grunge bands like Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots. And this is the only album that I didn't buy back in the day, but I remember listening to the lead single, which was Dogman. It's a good album, has different sound. Some people might not like it as much as their other albums, but with that being said, I don't think they deviated too much from their sound. We have lots of good songs like Dogman, which has some heavier bass and guitar. You have songs like Human Behavior, which has some more dissonant tones. There's the track Cigarettes with some emotional lyrics. Something you wouldn't expect from this band is a song called Go to Hell, which is like this short punk rock song. And they have a cover of Jimi Hendrix's Manic Depression, which they do very well. In the end, it did pretty well. Reached 88 on the US Billboard 200. The lead single, Dogman, peaked at number 20 on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart. In the end, it's a good album if you're looking for something a little heavier. Now, before I end the video, I'm going to do a quick ranking of the album. So my 5 and 4 are going to be these last two here. I'm not really sure which order I want to put them in. But it's going to be the self-titled and Dogman. I like it when bands get heavier, but despite that, I'm going to put Dogman at number 4. So my number 5 is going to be the self-titled. I like it. I remember listening to it when I was younger. So I think Dogman is a little better. So it is self-titled number 5, Dogman number 4. My number 3 is going to be Out of the Silent Planet. It's a good debut album, but I think the two albums that came after it were a little better. But with that being said, has some strong tracks like Goldilocks. Probably a good place to start anyway. If you're getting into the band, I would just start here and just listen all the way to the fifth album. But this is at number 3. My number 2 and my number 1 are going to be a struggle between these two albums. I'm not really sure which one I want to put at number 1, but I thought about it. And I used to listen to both of these all the time when I was younger. I'm going to put Faith, Hope, and Love at number 2. It's a good, well-rounded album, but I think Gretchen Goes to Nebraska was a little better. It has a single, Over My Head. It has maybe a little heavier sound. That's why I like it. So that's going to be my number 1. So that is all. Let me know in the comments section what you think of these albums, and do you still listen to them, or did you own them back in the day, or anything like that. Check out this video I did. I'm going to put 2 videos right here. I'm going to put the 2 Alice Cooper box sets that I recorded, which is the Alice Cooper Part 1 and Part 2. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And on this channel, I do videos related to my CD collection or vinyl physical media in general. So if you like that, subscribe. See you in the next one.